Sandro Tonali's already spoken about how excited he is to feel the warmth of Newcastle United fans on a match day at St James's Park, but I'd wager it won't take him long to feel at home when he comes over here to take a look at the city for the first time, to take a look at the stadium, take a look at the training ground, take in his new surroundings, which will be his home for the coming years. Signed on an initial 5-year deal. This is a huge signing in so many ways. Newcastle United have effectively signed a man earmarked to be the future captain of AC Milan. That's probably a sentence worth repeating. Shows you where the club are at. This is a 23-year-old, fully international who has his best years ahead of him and will only get better. I think that's possibly the most exciting thing about this deal. Yes, Tonali will need time to get used to the physicality and pace of the Premier League, but what he brings already is huge. His mentality, he was a key cog in an AC Milan team that got to Champions League semi-finals last season, who won the Scudetto the year before that. He's got that winner's hunger, determination, desire, all those key qualities you want from a player, but also what he can do on the field, of course. You know, a midfielder who's a real all-rounder. He'll be able to play the base of midfield or as a number 8, and he'll add so much to that midfield, a new dimension really, with the way he can manipulate the ball, the way he can press without it. It really fits what Eddie Howe wants from a midfielder, and I think it'll push the midfielders they already have on. I think they'll be very excited to play with a player of this quality, but they also know they have to go up another level themselves to keep their place. It reminds me a little bit of when Bruno came in around 18 months ago. We all remember how those midfielders who are already at the club, they really pushed on again, and I think a similar thing will happen here. Someone like Sean Longstaff isn't just going to want to give up his jersey, and I think Tonali will really push players like that on, because when Longstaff wasn't fit last season, when Bruno was suspended, wasn't fit, this midfield didn't quite function the same, whereas now you've got 5 really strong midfielders. It looks very strong in the middle of the park. There's a good spine to that Newcastle team now, and we know they're not finished yet. I think this deal is a reminder of the pool of players they're looking at, the very small pool of players who can actually improve a team who overachieved and got 4th place last season. And I think they're being very deliberate, very meticulous, that they're only going to bring in players who can actually add something to this side. And there aren't many of them, but it is a long window and there are a lot of twists and turns to come. And I think there are names who haven't yet emerged who Newcastle are very much considering, who believe could help take the team to the next level. And we've seen how Newcastle do a lot of groundwork for these windows, but opportunities can present themselves, circumstances can change, things can be readjusted, and that's what makes this a really intriguing window to come. But for senior signing anyway, I don't think anyone, even at the club, would have imagined Tonali would be the man coming in a couple of months ago. But it just shows you the ambition now, that they can not only go for these players but also convince them to come, and that's the big thing with this. Tonali is obviously a boyhood AC Milan fan. It will have been a wrench for him to leave. I'm sure it's natural. I mean, the equivalent is Alan Shearer leaving Newcastle. It wouldn't be an easy move, but this is the era of player power. If he didn't want to come, he wouldn't have. And you just look at his words, I thought were quite interesting after joining, thanking Newcastle for the opportunity. He's someone who's always been fascinated by the Premier League, and I think the fact he wants to come just shows you where the club is at. Leaving AC Milan for Newcastle United, it's a statement in itself.